All right, so Ken and Lisa Lane, here, the Mountain Gardeners, and Lisa takes this entire segment, and I bite my tongue, or try not to say anything.
We all know that doesn't happen.
Anyway, it's good to get a different perspective from gardening.
Mm-hmm.
So gardening's all about different angles. There's different ways to perceive. There's no right or wrong. There's just what's personal and feels good for you out in the landscape. If you love hummingbirds, put more hummingbird stuff. If you're only here in the winter, because this is your winter home and Alaska is your summer home, put more evergreens because you're here in the winter. If this is your summer home and you winter down in Scottsdale or Palm Springs, put in more summer, fall blooming things because that's when you're up here. So you can personalize your landscapes. And so
I thought you were going to bite your tongue.
I'm still setting the stage for you. So, okay. Yeah. Here we go. Now you see what I deal with, folks. You see what's going on. All you guys understand, right?
It's all my segment, except.
Okay. So, hi, Lisa.
Hi, Ken.
I'm glad you're here.
Me too.
And may I wish you a happy anniversary a week early.
Thank you.
Big 34 is coming up.
I went and got your yesterday.
Wait, what is it? Share with the audience. They want to know.
Well, they're going to have to wait
till next week or the week after. We'll see. If we don't forget. Now we got 34 years and we're starting to forget.
He's choked up about it. He's choked about the microphone. So yes, what we're going to talk about this week is screen trees or creating a secret garden effect.
Good. Privacy.
So
living walls.
So many new homes going up in the area, and people who've been on their property for 10 years, they never had homes around them. All of a sudden now they have a house going up next to them, and it's a little disconcerting to people.
You definitely lost your privacy. You feel like you're out there on the back porch in your underwear or something. You always feel exposed.
That's bad.
You
That's
shouldn't be doing that.
That's not. So screens are hugely important. They're becoming more important as the more homes that we get. Some people have moved into a home already established with homes around them, but they want to create a nice environment because they really love spending time outside. So creating that secret garden means blocking off people eyeballs on you all the time. So there's, depending upon the space that you're trying to fill, height, width, size, there's a lot of different things you can use, different textures, different looks. And I always encourage people, don't go with a wall. Don't go with a wall of 20 Foutinia. Okay. Try to mix it up a little bit. Maybe you do a tree and then some Foutinia and then another variety of tree. Just something to give so it's just not little soldiers.
Feels more garden-esque kind of thing instead of a green wall, like a prison block.
Right.
It feels like a garden where like iguanas want to jump in off from tree to tree. Maybe that's Florida.
Well, and also if you get, which happens, if you get a bout of some kind of disease or fungus or insect that takes out, like the Leland Cypress, a lot of people put Lelands in as screens. Well, all the Lelands have Ceridium canker and they're dying out. So people who had these big walls of Lelands now are scrambling.
That culture. If there's any disease that goes through, it's going to take them all out, and you're left starting over again.
Right.
If not going backwards.
Right. So good idea to mix things up. I think it's more pleasing to the eye, and I think it's just healthier for the yard as well. So if we're thinking screens, some of the bigger screen trees you can use, of course, are Austrian Pine. Which is a great pine for here, fast growing, does well here. It doesn't get the scale as much. It doesn't get the borers in it as frequently. So it's actually a really good pine to put into our area.
It's like a shorter ponderosa pine, but it holds its foliage right down to the ground. But it still has a long needle to it. And it's very hardy for here.
Oh, yeah. Deodar Cedar. So that's a really good replacement for those people who had the Leland Cypress. That Deodar is just a super replacement for that. Very fast growing, very drought hardy.
Probably the fastest growing of all the evergreens.
Right.
And the biggest. That's probably why it grows so fast. We're talking 60 foot high and
It gets big.
25 feet wide.
Yeah.
It's a monster.
You need some space
It's
for
not
that.
for these little lots. This is the one you want to have a big yard for.
My favorite, though, is you tell people how big it gets, and they go, "Oh, that'll be somebody else's problem."
It's true.
I'm like, yeah, okay, good point. So very fast growing, very drought hardy. They can be a little weird looking when they're young, but give them a year or two and they're beautiful. Spruce, so fat Albert spruce, Colorado blue spruce, Norway spruce, a little slower growing, 6 to 8 inches a year, would you say?
You
But
can get a foot if you get the bigger, just Colorado. Yeah, the fat Alberts from the dwarf varieties, but hoop Baccaris, and they're
Right.
big. They grow a little faster. Yeah.
Mhm. But still a great one if you're doing a big area. Put in a pine or a deodar, and then put a spruce in front of
Yeah,
it.
good idea.
It gives you some nice contrast and color as well. So, because a lot of the spruces have that real blue color to them, so it gives you a nice
Or
contrast.
gold. I was thinking that
The
Deodar Cedar gold, Deodar
right.
Cedar.
That's
Beautiful.
I saw a big one the other
Yeah.
day, mature one. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Very nice tree. Arizona cypress. Great one for windbreaks as well. If you're trying to do rake, fast growing, kind of has that bluish gray color. So another one, nice one to mix in with some more green on
We
there.
use a lot of those, or suggest a lot of those out in the valley areas.
Mhm.
So Chino Valley, Paulden, Dewey, Humboldt. They got big open spaces. They've got wind tunnels. They need to cut the wind and privacy all at once.
Mhm.
And yet they're hardy enough to, once they get up to size, they'll go by themselves.
Right.
Great plants.
Mhm. So then we get into some of the leafier screen trees, and they're again, mix them in with your evergreen, your
Okay.
spruce and your Austrian pines. Foutinia, probably the number one
Yeah.
seller, fast growing. It is really, really pretty when it's putting on that new growth. That red, the new growth is always a bright red color.
So red-tipped Foutinia.
Red-tipped Foutinia. So it is a pretty screen.
What's
shrub.
that new variety that just came? We started carrying it.
Red Dynamo.
Red Dynamo Photinia. If
Mhm.
you're going to plant one, plant that. It's super red, thicker, easier, and supposed to be less disease prone to stuff.
Mhm.
So Red Dynamo,
Mhm.
a red tip Photinia.
Right. Cotoneaster. So the red clusterberry Cotoneaster is a real pretty one. We used it out in Skull Valley when we lived out in Skull Valley. Real pretty kind of vase shape to it, fan shaped. Little white flower clusters in the spring with red berries in the fall that are not
Clusters of red.
poisonous.
Yeah.
Yes. The birds like them. And very animal resistant.
Very much.
So a good one if you've got deer, bunnies, those kind of critters.
How is that different from pyracantha? You know, everyone's used that Victory pyracantha, the great
Mhm.
big, has berries, evergreen, that kind of stuff. What's the difference?
Doesn't have thorns.
Thorns. I guess that's yeah. What's a common name to that? Thorn.
Victory.
Yeah.
There,
Anyway.
well, there's Victory. There's
Okay.
there's lots of pyracantha. So yeah, Cotoneaster. It also gets a real pretty kind of fall color, winter color, kind of gets a
Yeah.
bronzy look to it. Silverberry, the Eleagnes. We have that in front of our house.
Yeah.
Very drought hardy. Oh my gosh, very drought
Hardly care
hardy.
for it. We
Mhm.
curse at it, kick dirt at it. Still grows. It's great.
It's a
a
super
native.
plant.
Yeah.
The one we have is the variegated yellow green. Really pretty out front. Gives a nice color to the front of our house, which is gray. So it gives it nice color. So vines are another way to screen, whether you grow them on trellis or you're just letting them. You're telling me to hurry up. I can't do
just
it.
Making sure you're watching the clock. You see the list. You don't even hardly scratch the surface. This is
So-
a great list, by the way.
It is. So vines that are evergreen, honeysuckle, the Hall's honeysuckle, real pretty fragrant flowers in the spring and summer, lovely. Ladybank's rose. So this is a rose that's evergreen, plus it doesn't have thorns,
Yeah.
but it only blooms one time in the spring, but it is gorgeous.
Also
when it
called
blooms.
the Tucson
Tomb-
rose. If you're down to-
Tombstone.
Tombstone. Yeah. What did I say?
Tucson.
Never. Yeah. Tombstone. Yeah. Don't listen to what I say. Listen to what I do.
And we're out of time, so
Okay.
we'll stop with that.
Great list of privacy screens. If you need
Yeah.
help, take a picture, bring a sample, a measurement. We can help you design
Mhm.
privacy screens. By next spring, it'll flush new growth and you'll feel isolated in your own backyard. Hannah Lisa Lane and the Mountain Gardeners. Be right back.